Hello, welcome to the Nick's Boots from Start to Finish podcast. I'm your host, Schuyler Mao. I'm joined by Lucas Grassberger, Kelsey Lursbach, and we're going to go through your questions that you asked on Reddit. Mm-hmm. Some really good questions here, guys.
Yeah, we got a bunch of great questions this time
Good job. Okay, could you talk about the exact difference between H&W and Thurman and W? There's really only one difference. The Thurman and W is like a quarter of an inch wider in the instep, right? That would be the instep?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of measuring like the longest or the widest portion of the last, it's about a quarter of an inch wider in circumference.
In total circumference, yeah.
Yep, total circumference.
Yeah.
So it's bigger. It's a bigger toe box.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much the big difference. I tried to make like the toe itself is not that different. When you get to the point of it. But I just measured two pairs here, and that is by far the most significant difference. Mm-hmm. Is basically the width across the instep.
Yeah, total circumference.
Or the circumference, yeah.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, just looking at them, a lot of the circumference is changed a little bit with the Munson. It's a little bit lower and wider to give you that toe space.
Yeah.
But in terms of the overall circumference, it's kept the same so that width-wise, they fit about the same.
Yep. So that's the main difference, main exact difference.
Mm-hmm.
We're halfway through the year. How's Nick's doing so far? Schuyler's on the Full Grain podcast. They mentioned Woolly CXL. Can we just do some Woolly CXL soon? Nick's is doing pretty well, I would say. We are still growing, which I don't know. I mean, I know this kind of depends on who you talk to, but I don't think everybody's crushing it in footwear, especially. We talk to, our salespeople, and there's always gossiping and scuttlebutt and that sort of thing. And I know some of the bigger brands are actually struggling quite a bit right now. And I think even some people, maybe closer to us, are not doing as well. So we're still growing, and that is a good thing. We've had to work a lot harder this year, I will say, to do that. And we're trying out some new things that I think are working. But the problem right now is so I kind of pulled some levers, and we invested in some, basically getting our sales up, and now we need production to go up commensurately, and that is taking a little longer than I thought. But I do think like by end of July, early August, we'll probably be able to increase production by about 6 to 7% or so, and I think that'll really help with our numbers, and also some of the pain points that we were having, like exchange lead times and that sort of thing. I was on the Full Grain, Woolly CXL. Sure. Yeah, I don't see why not. Can we get some Woolly CXL?
I'm not super familiar with Woolly CXL. Is that like a rough out CXL? Like woolly as in like woolly mammoth? We got Minotaur coming in. Might as well bring in the woolly mammoth too.
Oh, that's right. Okay. It's not. That's right. I talked to Skip about this. It's got more lanolin in it.
Interesting.
Which is basically what comes from wool when you shear a sheep.
Oh.
So lanolin is like wool oil. Mm-hmm. That's why it's called Woolly CXL.
Gotcha.
That's right. Okay. It's got a, It's a little more. I think it feels more aniline. Like it's looks more like leather than CXL. CXL can kind of look very finished, and it's a little less. So
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Will the 1925 last come back, or some other dressier last? Yes, it will. It will come back actually in like a week.
Pretty soon here? Yeah, I think we talked about bringing it back. The reception was great. People are getting their boots now. They're loving them. which, it's nice to see the 1925 last tried out in a wider audience. Because as we know, Brandel, it's a much smaller audience, a little bit slower pace. So yeah, I'm excited to bring it back. See some more builds in the 1925. We've also been experimenting with some other dressier lasts. These are still kind of early development phases. We've tried some samples out. It's a little bit more subtle, I would say, than like the 1925, like in terms of its difference to our existing lasts. But it's really nice.
Yeah. So we're always kind of experimenting with lasts, and but yes, the 1925 will come back. What is up with the other bag prototypes Mr. Thunderdome was working on? That's Luke Larson. Also, any chance we will ever see a wing? Well, okay, bagged prototypes. Yeah, what is up with that?
I know he's been playing around with a messenger bag.
Yeah.
Which is essentially our travel bag, but more narrow in the bottom of it. So I know he's been toying with that. And then, of course, there's, he's messed with doing like a tote bag, things like that.
Luke's kind of an evil genius, so he's just kind of doing his own thing sometimes back there. I call him evil genius because he did bully Chris Pratt in high school. But anyway.
Not true.
Okay, any chance we will ever see a wingtip brogue Nick's boot like a Tricker's Stow? Don't we kind of have that?
We have a wingtip.
But we do brogues.
We do
like
brogues.
Medallion.
Yeah, we haven't really put those two things together.
Yeah.
I think, there's definitely some room there for us to do some experimenting and do something a little bit dressier. I know at one point, was it Aldert who did his own, like, wingtip brogue boot? Do you remember that? We posted
Vaguely.
pictures on it. It did not go well on Reddit. But it was, like, his own personal pair. I think it was in, like, 64 tan or something.
Yeah, I mean, the employees come up with sometimes not the best combos. But, yeah, we can... I don't know. I don't really have anything against it.
Yeah. I think we'd have to experiment with it to really make it like a dressier boot. I think the wingtip right now, it's cool. It can sometimes look a little out of place on our boots because our boots are very...
Yeah, well, it could work with maybe one of these new dress lasts.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
1925 or something like that.
It's got to have the right combination with it.
Yeah. Of course, somebody will want to make like a wingtip brogue tanker or something, I'm sure. Yeah. Will the double stuffed Sienna make a return? Yes, it will.
Please say yes.
Yeah, that'll actually happen this month.
That's also happening very soon.
Yeah, so like the slower moving double stuffs, we basically, to try and get as many not a ton, but to try and get a more consolidated amount of orders to send to Wicket, we kind of spaced that out. But the last time I think we offered it was December, I think.
Yeah.
And so, it's about that time for it to come back.
Okay.
I have no idea.
So, please explain balance when it comes to heel height selection and how it's determined at the shop before the boots are ever worn. So, there's, this is kind of a conflicting thing we run into. And, in classic boot making, there's a balance to a boot and a last. Every last is built with a predetermined heel height. Balance has to do with when the boot is flat, the ball of your foot and your heel both sit perfectly flat on the surface. If the heel's shorter, that'll lift up. If it's higher, it'll push forward. So in a perfect world, perfect boot making, every last has a certain heel height. We offer different heel height options. So there is some variation to that. Honestly, in my mind, with the way our boots are built, heel balance off the line, it can look a little, like the Prospector has that super high toe sprung. As you wear it, it kind of settles in with your foot shape. So when people talk about heel balance, that's kind of what they're talking about. The big thing is really just getting the heel cap to sit perfectly flat. And that is what we try to do in the heeling department as we're making the boots, regardless of the heel shape or heel height. So you might see a little bit of an angle to the heel because they're sanding it to make sure it sits flat. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Where are your largest growth opportunities? Would you consider staffing, training, or infrastructure more important for short-term growth? On the second one, so infrastructure, we kind of invested a bit already with the remodel, and so that let us add additional electrical capacity, additional bathrooms, additional like air compressor outlets. We basically put like the sanders are now have like a filtration. It's like much better, right?
Yeah.
So the infrastructure, I think we're okay in the short term. Staffing and training is probably the number one thing. So it's just really hard to grow quickly when you have to make everything yourself and you have to train the people who are going to make it, and it has to be at a high standard. And so that's kind of what I learned, like, in 2019, before I started, we were around 2 million, and we've grown about 6x. What I've realized is like we can only kind of grow a certain amount per year, like from a production standpoint. It's just too hard and too time consuming and hard to find the right people who can make things the way we need them to make them. And so that's a constraint. Where are your largest growth opportunities? I think I thought international would be a big opportunity, but that's getting weird right now as everything
Yep.
going on. I think there's also just a ton of people who don't know about us, right? I mean, we're such a small brand, and so I still think there's a ton of runway here, in the U.S. It is kind of interesting. Like I'll look at like our kind of like we're not as big in the South, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if it's a weather thing or something like that, but kind of proportionally, we don't have as much business there. I think in 2022 was the first year where more than 50% of our sales came from east of the Mississippi, in like the history of the company. And so that was a pretty big accomplishment. But I mean, there's still a ton of opportunity there, because I think about 65% of the population lives over there, maybe more. But yeah, so I think just building awareness, getting the word out, and I do think like, price is a barrier, right? Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
especially with inflation and kind of the cost profiles that we're seeing, and so I think opportunities to have a lower priced offering would be meaningful, and like kind of the way I envision it is like, there's a lot of people who can't afford an Nix boot, or at least can't afford to kind of take the risk, and so like, do you have kind of a more of an entry into the brand, and then they love it, and then they kind of move up to the full bore. That's kind of what I'm hoping to be able to accomplish. Good question. I'd love to see y'all build a batch of boots in various sizes and sell them as in-stock boots. I know the seconds and returns go very quickly from the website. It seems that you could take even just small batch runs and popular configurations, and they would fly off the shelf. It's a good question. We've sort of tried that a little bit.
In-stock program.
We had an in-stock program with the Builder Pros.
I think it's just kind of a balancing act, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we can build stock boots that are not really guaranteed sales, but we also have like people who have orders, and they know we have a queue of boots to go through. So it's every in-stock boot we make is a non-customer boot yet.
Yeah.
And we want to make those customer boots, and so finding that balance of
Yeah, I'm always hesitant to put an in-stock boot program ahead of, people waiting. So I agree. I think there's some advantages around it. There are a lot of production efficiencies that we could have. So we've talked about something like that. It'd be like a Builder Pro, you know, probably. And then I think we did Americanas.
Yeah, we did some Americanas. It was mostly Hot Shots and Builder Pros. It's interesting because I feel like, 2020, what is the small goods room now was our like storage room for boots. We had hundreds of boots in there, mostly for try-on process, but also to sell fire boots. And as we got more orders, that just dwindled and dwindled and dwindled.
Yeah.
To now where RTS is kind of our in-stock option.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I would like to do it. I will say, like, sizing is tough, and so I could, I don't know. One thing I've toyed with is like, could you contract with somebody else to make the upper with our leather, and then you have essentially, uppers that are ready to just go into bottoming and lasting, and like obviously like they, an upper can fit a size range.
Right.
It's not just like an 8D. And so I think that like you could build them to be able to accommodate a size range and maybe cut them down or something like that. But yeah, I that's something I've toyed with as well. We haven't done it, but
yeah, something like that helps with that production flow too, because like sewing can keep sewing boots, which tends to be kind of a lot of times the biggest kind of bottleneck, and then it fills up the rest of production capacity, so we can build boots for customers and in stock boots still. It's definitely it's something I feel like we talk about a lot.
Yeah, it's a good question. During a Boots on the Line video, it was mentioned that you guys seem to have a preference of Shackleton over CXL. I was wondering why. Do I have plans of phasing out CXL? No plans to phase out. I don't recall this.
I think it was probably
was it production?
I was gonna say it was probably you talking to like Jamin and the bottoming lasting. I know that Shackleton's easier.
So Lasting loves Shackleton because it's softer, basically. So it's higher temper. It is easier to work with, but it's not so stretchy that it's challenging. So it's kind of a sweet spot. I think it's fine because I have a good relationship with the Lasters, and so I do tend to talk to them. They're also kind of like proximally located, and they're usually at a good point in the boot making process where you can actually see what the boot is going to look like. Not every department likes the same leathers.
Yeah.
And so, sewing is, I don't know how they feel about Shackleton versus CXL, but like they like different things than Lasting.
Yeah.
They like things that are not smooth on the back, so they actually don't love waxed flesh because waxed flesh is kind of slippery because it's the grain side on the bottom. So when you're lining up the pieces, there's less friction, so they can kind of slide around. So you have to like spend more time kind of keeping them in place. Whereas Lasters really like waxed flesh. So it kind of depends on what you're doing to the boot.
Yeah.
But no, I think Shackleton's cool. It's waterproof, which I think is a really nice benefit. It does look very much like CXL. CXL is also just like super popular and has a lot of name recognition, and so I don't see us getting rid of it. We do definitely sell less CXL, but that's because we've brought in so many other leathers.
I was gonna say I feel like we have not like seriously considered it, but I feel like we have tossed the idea in the air a couple times of like, does Shackleton replace CXL? But like you said, CXL is it's got to be like one of the most recognized or known tannages of leather out there, just in general. But yeah, I mean, I could see us even just rather than getting rid of it, expanding color options, because black and brown CXL, which is our flagship CXL options, sales have definitely, they're on the lower side compared to other heritage options, but they're also, it's black.
Yeah,
and brown.
I mean, Cypress is really kind of like taken over a little bit.
Maybe some rotating of leathers, but I don't think we ever completely get rid of CXL.
Yeah, I mean, CXL is classic. I don't think you'll ever see us like some guys have moved to double shot. I think mostly because of cost.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit less, but like, I don't foresee us doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we have one double shot color, but yeah, no, we will not be moving away from that.
Yeah, we actually have some interesting CXL samples we are playing with right now. Like there's the Pacific CXL.
Yeah.
What was the one
Acorn.
The Acorn. There was another one that just came through. Bayview?
Bayview is double shot.
Oh, is that double shot? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Bayview is for, I think it's brown CXL. It's
Similar to, okay. Yeah. It seems a little bit lighter.
No, so I got that because, it might be a little bit lighter. I got that because I've got a retailer that is looking for kind of their own leather, and it was basically what Seidel had, like
Gotcha.
that they could get quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, it looks great. It's a great looking
it's
leather.
a nice leather.
It's a nice leather. Yeah. Yeah. So those are all the questions. You know, we're shooting this on Friday, so the light gray cypress will be dropping today.
Yeah.
I hope if you missed that and you're listening to the podcast, please check it out. I think it's a really pretty leather. It's very cool. And we'll have a lot of other stuff coming up this week. Yeah, or this month. We've got the Wicked and Craig will be reopened for the less quick moving leathers and double stuff. What else we got? We got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Lots of.
Dome Pro.
The Dome
Oh,
Pro
yeah,
will be
of
launching this
course.
month.
Yep. We just did our sample sale. I think there's 6 of those sample leathers left. So, we've been talking a lot about.
I think we're going to do that every month if we can.
Yeah, because
That was awesome.
like we just mentioned, we have the Bayview. We've got.
We'll have more coming through.
There's constantly leathers coming through, and
I think these tanneries should be giving it to me for free, to be honest. I'm promoting it for them.
yeah, there you go.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do another sample sale here in the next month or so. But sample sale is really cool because you get first grab at a new leather that we're probably going to be offering. Like people,
And we may not even offer it, right? So you
Right,
could be
exactly.
the only person in the world.
yeah. Like I think there's 2 or 3 boots available in the light gray, so those 2 or 3 people are going to be able to get the light gray cypress before anyone else.
Right.
Because everyone else, you have to wait for the actual shipment of leather to come in.
Yep. So lots of cool stuff coming.
Next week's Shark Week, too.
And Shark Week
Shark
next
Week.
week. What are we doing for Shark Week? Or is it Shark and Horse Week?
It's Shark and Horse Week.
Are we
'cause
doing
we-
horse?
Luke is trying to make
Yeah.
it Shark and Horse Week because we have a bunch of horse strips
Oh, okay.
for leather goods.
And we didn't have as much shark as we did last year, so
Yeah.
we're doing both.
Yeah.
He's
So this
made
is
some.
small goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's made some really,
Like you said,
Do
really
we have any
interesting
horse
graphics.
we could offer for on the boot side?
I mean, we did
I know we
the
did
Aspen and
We should
Shell
at
already.
least promote it.
Yeah. We might have some slots for Aspen still available.
Yeah, and Shell. I know
Yeah.
I saw one cancellation come through.
I'll
'cause
look into
of
it.
a very unreasonable request, in my opinion. But
But yeah, like you said, Luke the evil genius.
Yes.
Yesterday he was just like, so Shark Week next week. It's going to be Shark and Horse Week.
so it's Shark and Horse Week next week, and I think that's great.
I'm trying to find the through line still between sharks and horses for that to make sense, other than just we have horse.
No, you'll see the graphic and it'll all make sense.
Yeah.
The NDs, that's going to be August. Kind of a bummer. What else we got? There's got to be a ton in there. I gave you so many ideas.
no,
I gave you
there
guys
is-
so many ideas.
There is a ton. We're gonna have another lightning ship program.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to get rid of, I need to get rid of some leather. Like, we're like kind of towards the end of like some runs of some leathers. So we'll have an expedited lead time on those, basically. Just want to get cleared out of here, man. You should see, I don't know if you watch the Boots Online videos, but you notice I'm sitting next to these massive boxes. Well, that's leather. It's not supposed to be there. That is not supposed to be where you store leather. So I just need to clear some space.
We have some new sole options, which will lead to some new products like the tactical.
The Dr. Soul shipment should ship
Oh, that's right.
the end of this month, and get to here hopefully mid-August. So those will be going into production. Yeah, man, there's just a lot Got a new website coming out.
Yeah, that's been putting a lot of work into
So
that.
that's a big bear. I'm switching accounting systems, so that's been really fun. And
This is the exciting stuff people like to tune in for.
yeah, we've got 2 like major initiatives that I don't want to blow the lid off of just yet, but you'll find them interesting, I think, or you may hate them, but you'll definitely find them interesting. Okay. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week. And for Kelsey, Lucas, and Shyler, we appreciate you. Thank you for being a customer. Thanks for thinking of being a customer. Or just thanks for talking about boots. Talk to you later. Bye.